the public that they are currently policing?
Oh, very much. Well, that's the thing. It's divide and conquer. And when people think divide and conquer, they think of different political groups. But it's within all society, because when you look at how the people are being controlled, well, they're using the people to control the people. It's the people who make up the police forces. It's the people who make up the military. I mean, what if the government threw a war and nobody came? You know, the soldiers just decided they weren't going to go to work that day. No, we're not going to go and kill anybody's daughters and anybody's children, anybody's sons. Give the gun to the president and say, sorry sir, you'll have to go and do it. We're not fighting today. What would they do? They couldn't do anything, you know. And people have to understand that the only thing that's being used to control us is the people. The people are the system. People say, how do we bring down this system? Well, the way to bring it down is to realise that we are the system. And we have to stop complying with what these people tell us to do.
My final stop was Harrisburg, where I spoke with seminal documentary filmmaker Ben Stewart. His films Esoteric Agenda and Kymatica are two of the most thought-provoking and interesting films I have seen to date.
If we complain about tyranny, it's not necessarily because there's a tyrant out there that's wishing to rule us. Because if we were self-governing within ourselves, they would have no power over us whatsoever. Because everything naturally comes back from the consent of the governed. And people always let their imagination run wild. Well, you know, if you do this, then the government's just going to do this. If you do this, then the cops are just going to do this. If you do this, then the elite or the NWO, they're just going to do that. And the thing is, that's, again, fanaticism. That's the imagination. Like, I don't doubt that things like that could happen, but people allow the fear of these things to keep them from even living their lives. They say, I can't do this because that might happen. I can't do this because they're corrupt and they'll do that. I can't do this because of this, that, and the other. So really, if you were to, like, take some type of charades game and try and like act out how these people are living their lives, you would just see them curled up in the corner of their room, shaking and shivering, not going out of their house, barricading the walls, you know, tinting all the windows, and just scared of the entire world, scared of their shadow, because they're not allowing themselves to really be sovereign. And you have 1,000,001 different excuses why we shouldn't be sovereign or why we can't be sovereign. You know, here's my excuse because of this. I can't be sovereign because of that. These people aren't letting me do it. These people aren't letting me do it. But it starts here. And when it starts here and it naturally progresses and grows, anyone that has actually gone through these steps will tell you that the only thing that was stopping us prior to that was the obstacles that we imposed on ourselves. And it's not because there's somebody else standing in our way. It's because we choose not to put that foot forward, because we're stepping into the shadow. We're stepping in, and when I say shadow, we're stepping into the shadow content of our subconscious. We're stepping into that darker content that we wanted to repress, the stuff that we don't want to see, those programs that we want to keep kind of buried and hidden.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but the shadow, as Jung would
as Carl Jung would say. And it's quite interesting, but that's the most necessary portion of us, especially today, to really bring about consciously. We need to understand that content, because unfortunately we have the perfect cop-out nowadays in society, and that's saying that we need to first take care of all the physical problems before we can even work on a spiritual level, because people typically don't seem to realize that you're always working on a conscious spiritual level. Always. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be working in the physical world, you're still working on that level, because we see everything as separate, and we like to see everything as separate, but we don't realize that everything does come back to those common principles. Like right now, we look around this room, what do we see? We see individual objects, and we're conditioned to see certain things. Like, we look at this lamp, we don't see the shapes, we don't see the colors anymore, we forget about that. We see them, but we don't process them the same way that we would have if we were consistently 100% conscious of everything around us. We see a lamp, we're conditioned to see a lamp, but we don't see all the shapes and the objects. We don't really see the colors anymore. We don't even see what it is. When we look around, we don't realize that everything we're seeing and perceiving is light. But we don't break it down that way anymore because that would be too simple. Now we have this intellectual formula that breaks everything down into these little pockets and these categories, so we can kind of like take all these little individual pieces and try and now make connections between them, and that's fanaticism, that's imagination. So when we look at our world, when we look out the window, and we see, you know, Barack Obama's doing this, and then we see, you know, things are going on in Israel, and we see things are going on here. We see the FEMA camps. We hear about HARP, and we hear about like the chemtrails and all these little things. And all these researchers try to make these little correlations, and they forget that they're all connected by some common glue. But they're trying to make up their own common connection between all of them through imagination, not through observation, but imagination. So it's obviously going to look like an unwinnable battle, like an unbeatable battle that we're fighting when you look at all of these things that are obstacles to us. You look at all these things that we supposedly have to wage war against. You know, the chemtrails and everything that I was just mentioning, all these little things that you'll see in these conspiratorial documentaries, even my own, all these little things are connected by what? An opinion, imagination. And only the individual. You can't go to somebody else and actually get that common link between all of them, because all you're getting is secondhand information. It's an opinion. Only the individual can connect these pieces through conscious observation. That is why all my work comes back to consciousness. If it's not based in consciousness, even if you do put the pieces together correctly, even if you put all the puzzle pieces together correctly, and you look at the big picture of what that puzzle eventually made, it doesn't matter anymore, because you're not even really seeing what that picture is showing you. You're seeing that conditioned image of what you expected to see after the puzzle pieces were put together. So that's why, again, it's moving from that dependence upon other people's opinions, upon other people taking care of these things that we should be doing on our own. We have all the tools within us, but we no longer want to use them because we want to use other people's tools to construct the life that we think we want. And the only reason why we think we want that life, you know, this life of supposed what we believe freedom to be, the only reason we want that is because it's been beaten into our heads what we think freedom is. So forgetting about what actually freedom might feel with us, we want freedom handed to us, which can never be done. It can never be handed to us. We have to bring it about, realize it, instead of be handed freedom.
The hardest part for someone like myself and you that are bringing the truth to the public, as weird as it is, oh my God, you know, vaccinations will kill you, doctors are killing you, you know, the whole list of contrivances, don't drink the fluoride, and all the things that we could scream and cry about, chemtrails over our heads, ionospheric heaters causing earthquakes and floods, oh my. We also have to know and understand and share with the rest of the public that this is a show, it's a facade, and that when you actually look around at humanity, you find loving, caring beings. You find people that have no will to kill, have no will to take the power and the domination that the psychopathic elite do.
I could speak for days about the injustice going on in the world around us, from small acts of violence to the destruction of the planet itself. But to speak of injustice is not to end it. Not only do we need to not comply with forms of slavery, such as the money is debt banking system, but we need to replace them with viable solutions. If we traded hours, for instance, and other types of mutually agreed upon bartering systems, we would free ourselves from debt slavery. We have the opportunity now to stop the fascist boot from coming down on our children and our children's children in perpetuity. But we need to work together. We need to come together in community groups and decide what our children learn, instead of allowing the government to mandate what they learn. We need to get together and grow clean, healthy food and celebrate life, instead of buying into what has become a culture of death. If we consider our actions and how we affect others, we will see that even a single drop of water can create ripples throughout the whole. But if you gather enough drops together, you have a flood, and nothing can stand in the way. Each person has unique skills with which he or she can help other people, and therefore the whole of humanity. All it takes is the love to offer those skills.
get my thing in action. To work, to play, to lay.